legal status. Many people fail to respond to RFE or file an application before the deadline. This is why we offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Not everyone qualifies. First, you need to speak with our CARES team. We receive many requests, so we recommend you answer a few questions on our website, greencardguys.com. Our mission is to help people live and work in America legally. Go ahead and subscribe below and follow and share. Talk to you soon. What's happening? Today's topic is mastering your taxes for a stronger eligibility or a pathway for citizenship. All right, so I have some tips to share about that, but I also have some good news. Friends, welcome to greencardguys.tv. I'm your host, John Ting. I practice immigration law in all 50 states of America and across the world, helping you solve your immigration problem and maybe helping you prevent it from happening in the first place, because there's so many damn immigration problems, unfortunately. So I want to try to, share guidance, tips, information, so that you can avoid those mishaps, those obstacles that you may not know about. So essentially, we call those red flags. So one of them today is related to taxes. Actually, I was just speaking with my landscaper. I just posted out this on LinkedIn the other day. Is that I was speaking with my landscaper, and I normally don't just go ahead and just tell people hey, I practice immigration law. It just somehow came about, and he hasn't been paying his taxes. So I said, look, buddy, you gotta pay those taxes. Not just that everyone else is doing it, but you have to. If you want to become a U.S. citizen, aside from even applying to become a U.S. citizen, you're supposed to legally pay taxes anyway. So I get it. Just like a lot of, especially manual labor business owners, they tend to not pay taxes, or they just don't know what they're doing. So they need the right resources. So I told them I'll send them some referrals so you get that going, because at the end of the day, even if you didn't pay taxes from the years before when he was a resident, for example, you can file a late tax return. At least that's as far as I know. Pretty sure that's okay, because why wouldn't IRS accept more money, right? Because at the end of the day, on the N-400 application to become a U.S. citizen, it has a couple questions related to taxes. Have you filed a tax return every year since you've been a resident? And then do you owe any back taxes to IRS, right? So some people do. And if you do you owe more money to IRS and you just can't pay it all up front, that's okay. As long as you have some kind of agreement on paper with the IRS that you're going to pay in, X by X month, periodic payments. That's what USCIS wants to see. All right. Because think about it, the money for taxes is paying for all these services and whatnot. So at the end of the day, that's you really got to think about that. The American dream is not just about owning a house, apparently, but it's also paying taxes. Y'all didn't know that, but if you want to live here in the United States, you have to pay your taxes. It's just better for the long run. Let's say you're not a resident yet because maybe you're not eligible, but for some reason you get picked up by ICE to get transferred to immigration. Eventually have a case in immigration court, and if you are eligible for something, let's say like cancellation removal because you've lived here for 10 years, a critical component of evidence is your taxes. All right. So you definitely want to get that going, apply for a tax ID number. If you're a resident, then you have a social security number already. So that's why I thought was a little surprising that my landscaper has a social number because he's a resident, but had not paid taxes. Then I realized just because you start living here in America or become a resident doesn't mean you know what resources that you need to do or what laws you need to follow. But unfortunately, the legal system here is you can't claim mistake of law, like you didn't know what the law was. Like someone can't claim that I was speeding 20 miles over the speed limit. I didn't know that was a speed limit. Like, you should have known, basically. Anyway, that's an example that I want to share with y'all. But here is another tip. The third tip related to taxes. If you're married, whether you're married to a person who has immigration status or not, please, for the love of God, don't pick head of household. Okay, it's just confusing to a USCIS officer. Okay, do not select head of household. If you're married, there's two options. married file jointly, and married file separately. Again, I am not a tax person. I'm not a bookkeeper. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an accountant. Okay. But the thing is, hey, what's up, Cesar? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. What's it called? I think you might be in the US by now, right? You were thinking about trying to come here on something else. So we'll get in touch with you, ask you about that. Um, yeah, it's confusing to USCIS. So if you put head of household, but you're married, I mean, I would think you don't put single when you're married, but just in case, you gotta check mark married. So anyway, from what I understand, when you put married filing separately, that's not a bad thing. That's usually like if you have your own business or one of y'all have a business and you're just trying to, you know, numbers wise, want to keep it separate. So, anyways, those are at least top 3 tips that you need to know about related to taxes. And a bonus tip here is that please, please, for the love of God, stop using a fake social number. If possible, don't use a fake social number and don't use someone else's number. Okay. Even if that person told you could. Okay. Because ultimately, if you work for a company to ask you to fill out a form called the I-9, it has a question of your status. And unfortunately, they don't have an option of undocumented status. Right. So if you're trying to work, not trying to encourage you to work, but I know you gotta get paid to pay the bills. Try to pick a job that doesn't require you to fill out the I-9, even though you're supposed to, HR wise. Just food for thought, okay? Not trying to tell you what to do, just some information. This is not legal advice. This is not tax advice, but just some tips because you don't want USCIS officer or the government DHS attorney, if you're in court, to argue, say, hey, you claim to be a U.S. citizen. No, you do not want that situation. Okay, folks. So you want to avoid that. Even though you might think, well, I'm not in court now. You just can't predict the future. Okay. It's if we could predict the future, then I think you'd be making a lot of money related to that. Anyways, okay. So, folks, if you're new to the channel, welcome. We do offer, strategy session for 15 minutes, no cost to you, but only for 15 minutes. If you do need more time, absolutely, I totally get it. We do offer paid consultation for those for 30 minutes or an hour. And I'm not the lead person anymore to do the consultations. Some of y'all got lucky in the past. In that sense, my team told me I shouldn't do the consultations as much anymore because honestly, I'm dying inside. I'm doing too much work, wearing too many hats, running the business. So, anyways, but if you do want to speak with me, they still don't want me to do this. I do offer a paid consultation with myself, or for you to chat with me directly. Let's see what else to share with y'all. So the best way to do that, folks, is if you're on YouTube and Facebook, go give us a call right there, or you can go to our website, greencardguys.com. Look, if you're at work and you couldn't remember all this information, it's all good. Just send us a DM real quick, okay? So send us a DM and use this secret code because we get a lot of calls, a lot of inquiries for consultations, questions. It's just a lot for our team to handle. And I appreciate the trust. But the thing is, I want to give y'all some kind of value, some kind of benefit because you're watching us live here on all these different social media channels. So use this secret code TGIF, okay? TGIF, because our team can help, it helps our team prioritize or whatnot, okay? So hopefully that helps. And let's see what else. Okay, so here to answer any questions. I'll probably be on for another 10 minutes at least to answer your questions. Oh, the good news. The good news today. I went to what's it called? USCIS interview today. All right, the local field office in Houston. And I can say we didn't have to wait for the online status to get the results. The officer stamped it right there on the passport, a temporary resident status, in the sense that because you ultimately have to wait for the resident card. Okay. Okay, so that was pretty amazing. I know a lot of y'all want to see get a waiver, your interview waived, there's actually a benefit of having the interview in person. Okay, I mentioned a live show before. Um, so I mentioned that live show before that yeah, it was great while USCIS is waiving interviews, but have a situation where you don't have the in-person interview, you won't get the stamp, right? Because you're not in person. And we've had at least one client, I believe, that got approved like the day after we mailed in the what's it called, the medical exam. Okay, got approved the next day, and then still waiting on the green card. And that was in May, right? And that's September now. And unfortunately, I've heard that of many people that are on the show. So that there's been production delays on the green card. So the officer told me today it'll be about a month. So it's definitely being slower than usual, I guess, or what we're used to. Um, I don't know what's going on in that office. You would think it's just a machine. I don't know. Like, anyways, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, obviously, you need a human to review it and whatnot. Let's see. Okay, so anyways, yeah, it's great news. So don't be scared. Don't be scared if you got an interview in person. All right, you do want to prepare for it. So we asked some questions to a client to prepare them. We had two preparation sessions with them, and just want to make sure they completely know what's going on, how to respond to an officer, how to be polite. Believe it or not. So yeah, you never know because things can be misconstrued on accident by certain behaviors. So, anyways, how long is I-601 waiver taking now? The last I checked, it was about a minimum 12 months. Okay, it could be about 24 months. But the thing is that fortunately, it's not taking as long as 601A because 601A is taking about 44 months. It's ridiculous. So, fortunately, you can sue for a delay on your case. Now, it has to be what we call unreasonable delay. And we're happy to, chat with you about that. You got to DM us or give us a call so we can give you a better idea based on our chart, when to file a lawsuit. But let's see, Bay user, it depends if you depend on timing to file your application. If you're applying for adjustment of status, you can file the what's it called, 600 I-600 601 application right now. Okay, at the time you file a petition, but every scenario is different. Okay, Anthony, N600 if your N600 gets denied. I don't like answering hypothetical, but if, oh shoot, I missed it. We'll go back to it in a second. How long does it usually take to get a green card if work sponsored? Also, what paperwork is given? I don't know what you mean by what paperwork is given. What paperwork you need to file? I can't answer that in this show. It's a lot of steps, unfortunately, but depending on your country nationality, assuming not one of those countries on the visa bulletin, but the left column where it says like all other countries, it takes at least minimum 2 years. If you're from like China, India, at least those two countries, it takes even longer because a lot of people apply from those countries. Okay, so but I will think about probably doing a webinar or something to answer your question in full because that takes a long time to talk about. All right, N600 got denied if for missing proof. What proof? Can you apply for N400? Oh, I see. You're trying to claim that you're already a U.S. citizen. Consider filing a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. Okay. Consider filing for that and see what paperwork they might have. Maybe you already did and they didn't, USCIS didn't provide anything that was useful. Yeah, that's tough. Sometimes it is, but we fortunately, in our legal team, we work together, we collaborate. And situation like this kind of question, like, well, what kind of evidence could we use? At one point, I think one attorney on our team was like, I don't think we can do that. And then just more brainstorming on something like that about related to, because you could use like secondary evidence, things like that. So you just, so that anyway, that's why it's a benefit with our team law group, because it's not just relying on one legal mind, it's more than one. So, and we talk to each other. Can I get a job with an approved I-45 notice? You could try. I mean, I don't know if you have. It sounds like I'm assuming maybe you didn't get the work permit before this, and for better or worse, I mean, 485. I mean, your employer might not understand it, but just no under. I just know how employers, how they, in a sense, like how long they take to go through the interview process. So you might as well try. Go ahead and just apply now, right? Because you don't provide the work permit or green card until later, until you've been selected for the job, you've been offered the job, and then after you've been offered and you accept it, then the HR gets in touch with you and you have to fill out the I-9 form. So usually, as far as I understand, I mean they're not supposed to. It's discrimination. They're not supposed to ask you what your immigration status is anyway. So, but yeah, sharing that kind of those cards, identity cards, is later on. It's not in the beginning when you apply. All right, great question. Never had that before, actually. Can I file I-130 and AOS together and then waiver? Depending on reason, you can. Well, first, Misty, you have to be eligible for AOS. So I don't want to make that assumption that you are eligible. But one key thing is that to be eligible for AOS, let's just assume it's marriage. Um, you have to have entered with a visa and that you did not leave after overstaying. Okay. But so I don't know why you need a waiver, but maybe it's for other reasons. Maybe you may have misrepresented to the government in a prior application or lied, or even if it's an omission of a fact, that's still technically misrepresentation. So again, I don't know the reason why you need a waiver, but get in touch with us, okay? Happy to guide you in a better direction. Yeah, timing wise, in terms of filing waiver, you might be able to file it sooner. What's up from Leon, Guanajuato, Mexico? What's going on? Good to see you. Let's see. Okay, Jeremy, you got approved 60 days ago. That's right. I remember it was a couple months ago. You didn't get the card, and now seeing that they approved it. I don't know why TikTok does it. I click the little arrow and it keeps going away. Seeing that they approved me again today. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm assuming yours is interview wave, so I chalk it up to a glitch. I mean, the USCIS website is not. They've improved the website. The layout of resources better, but it's just. I think there's a system in general internally with the workflow updating status. It's not perfect. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Maybe not. Hey, we just want to share real quick about the government shutdown. That's hopefully not going to happen, but what happened is midnight of as soon as it hits midnight, October 1st, and there's not even a temporary resolution. I think they call it in Congress, they call it continuing resolution. And that typically happens every freaking year, but it seems like it's more likely to be a government shutdown now. I thought it wasn't going to be, but there's unfortunately some ultra conservative Republicans who I don't remember the guy's name. He's pretty strange, honestly. The guy in Florida, I believe. I hate to talk about someone's behavior, but just politically, it's just the guy's a little strange. Matt something maybe. I think his last name starts with a G. But anyways, yeah. Apparently, what they're really concerned about is a little bit part of the budget, like very little. So, like, why are you holding everything else up? And unfortunately, when there's a government shutdown, I mean, I'll share about immigration, but when there's a government shutdown, it affects people who work for the government, right? And there's a lot of some of y'all probably who watch the show work for the government, actually, maybe not related to USCIS or the immigration, but you can't get your paycheck from what I understand. It's pretty ridiculous. So, and I remember for before when it was like furlough or something, like they still required people to work but not get paid until later. So I can imagine that's pretty frustrating, unfortunately. Now, with respect to immigration services and a potential government shutdown, which has happened before, typically USCIS will still continue processing because USCIS is not funded by Congress. They're funded by you. Okay. So anyone that always asks me like, I typically, or not always, I typically get a question like, "Can I file for this and that at the same time?" Yeah, typically, because they're depending on the situation, of course, but they want your money, okay? And if they deny you your application, they're not going to give you a refund because they got to use it to pay their employees. All right, so that gave you an idea. But when it related to ICE, immigration court, um, anything related to court is just typically shut down. District court as well, federal district court, not just immigration court. So yeah, kind of ridiculous that happens. All right, Nancy, you applied for renewal since August 2021. It still says processing. Holy smokes, 2021. You talking about renewal like the green card, I-90? I've heard a lot of y'all have been commenting about this, and we got a lot of calls like that. That you're pending I-90 for at least a couple years. That's totally unreasonable. So, but some people ask that we file a lawsuit on that. We can, but if you're willing to become a citizen, you might as well apply. Use that more money towards applying to become a citizen, right? So, but I know some people don't want to become a citizen, so I get it. Yeah, that guy, Matt Gates, if that's how I pronounce the name. Well, honestly, I don't care if I get it right. But yeah, he's a bit of a volleyball. I'm pretty sure there's a couple people with him, but I haven't looked into it deeply. But yeah, I mean, this is under a situation where certain politicians want to try to their get their causes taken care of. And so yeah, it's very unfortunate that politicians do this, but they all do it. I mean, but I don't know what he's fighting for. He probably doesn't want to reveal it. So this is one of those things, like any law like this, even for budget, it's pretty extensive. The general public like us, like I'm not going to look through that. Like even if I look at it, what good does it do for my practice area, for my clients? And nothing, unfortunately. So, but that's just something to keep in mind. Like I have a court hearing October October 10th, Tuesday in Dallas, and that might, if there's a government shutdown, I'm pretty sure that one might get rescheduled. So for better or worse, that's something that we look at for immigration purposes to update our clients. Okay, can I explain the 1 year physical presence for asylum? Absolutely. The recent policy change. So that was, I believe, in February 2023, the change. So, Sohal, it still requires a 1 year of physical presence before they even consider approving the application. I think it's a ridiculous rule, but they have to break down the process, I guess, the roadmap for the next status, upgrading the status. But the policy change in February was saying you can go ahead once you become a asylee, like you were approved, granted asylee status, which congratulations to you. The at least I'm inferring that as soon as you get granted, you can go ahead and just apply for the 485. And the reason why that I believe so, because any change they have is typically related to processing times. So because when you file for 485 based on asylee status, the processing time is different than applying for adjustment based on marriage or based on a adult child sponsoring you, right? So, and I think part of it is because they want to, I'm pretty sure there is another department within USCIS that essentially tries to go through these files of those that were approved for asylum. It's ridiculous, but they're going through a second time. Do they do that for every case? No, but I do know that people had their asylee status revoked because they hired a lawyer, they hired a consultant who used the same facts as someone else that also got approved. Yeah, so the government is not stupid. Maybe the first time, but they're coming back and looking at people who were previously approved for asylum, and yeah, taking a second bite at it. Anyway, the processing time for 485 based on asylee status is taking at least 2 years, unfortunately. Okay, let's see here. Let's answer. Looks like I can answer 2 more questions, and I gotta hop off to another meeting. Let's see. Okay, US Beauty. Let's pin this comment. Okay. If you have a I-130, 45, and 693 pending, you are removal court. You have a removal court date. You need to go with a lawyer. I recommend it. When I've gone with clients in a similar situation, we'll get the case dismissed. Um, we also, when we represent Ting Law Group represents clients in this situation, we notify, we request a position on the motion dismissal, aka PD, from DHS. Okay, Department of Homeland Security. They're the attorneys. I mean, yeah, they represent the government in that sense. Okay, so we connect with them, see if they're willing to dismiss it before we even go to court. Might be able to even avoid going to court in that sense, especially if you live in a different city than where that court hearing is located. All right, so the way we think about it is always prepare the three P's. I learned in law school. I remember something from law school. The three P's: prepare, prepare, prepare. Okay, so you don't wait till last minute. And also, people who have maybe gone to court. Not saying you can't do this yourself, but when people call into our office, they're like, "Yeah, I spoke with a government lawyer. We were in court, and they agreed to the dismissal." And I say, "Okay, well, why are you calling us?" Well, it turns out it's been a couple months and nothing's happened. The online it still shows a court date, and unfortunately, the government's not going to file the motion for you. Just because a government lawyer agrees to it to dismiss your case does not mean they're going to do the work for you. So even though you might not be a lawyer, you have to file a formal motion. Okay, so it's very unfortunate in a sense that a lot of people are, I mean, not unintentionally misled, I guess, is that, because this is something we do every day, we know what to do, right? So, yeah, I mean, it depends on your budget, but, essentially, we also provide the receipt notice. Sometimes some judges don't care about all the evidence, they just want the receipt notice, which is pretty amazing these days with Biden administration. So that's a good thing. Save some trees. Let's see here. Let's see. Let me find one more comment. Maria, you want to get one more question here? Hey, Shane, I think you mentioned that the other day, right? Oh, wait, no, Shane. Yeah, congrats, Shane. Your Shane's 485 was just approved. I think you've been waiting a couple weeks or something because a couple weeks ago your I-130 was approved. So congrats to you and thanks for sharing experience. I think a lot of people appreciate that. Hey, Shane, can you tell us when you filed your case in what city, if you don't mind, if you're still on? All right, Queen 3028. How long does it take to get a visa interview after NVC has already accepted the application? Okay, so it sounds like, Queen, that you're maybe, hopefully, I'm inferring that you have received the email from the National Visa Center to say that you have a new case number with NVC and the invoice number. So you have to do a couple steps. I can't walk you through the whole thing, otherwise I might as well represent you. But the basically you got to enter that information to that website, which I think they provide on the email, and then pay the fees. In total, there's two different fees, but in total it's $445. All right. Then it opens the portal so that you can submit, answer some questions. They call form DS-260. Okay. But there is also evidence that you need to provide, and that's also should be in the email. All right. So hopefully that helps. And then after that, now I can answer your question. Depending on embassy and consulate, it depends. I know, typical lawyer answer. But on average, I mean, you tell me which country, I have a better idea. But even if I say 6 months, I mean, it might not be 6 months for you. So it's difficult to answer that kind of question. But I say across the board, I guess around the world right now seems to be about average 6 months, which is pretty good considering there's I think at least 300,000 people waiting. So, all right, let me answer a question on YouTube. All right, Dan, you just turned 21. Okay, congrats on that. But your dad filed for you when you were 19. Did you just age out? So no, great question. Not automatically. Just because you turn 21 doesn't mean that you automatically age out. You can't, and unfortunately, you can't future predict this because it depends on when. It's really a mathematical formula essentially, which I need to share with y'all, but I don't want y'all to mess up on the calculation. But essentially, it depends on how many days that your I-130 has been pending. So if it's been pending for the longer that the I-130 is pending, the better for you, okay, to prevent the age out. So that's just as far as I know, that's how I understand the mathematical formula. All right. So I know there's a lot of people that complain on my petition through my parent or someone's or my siblings pending a long time. Like it's actually a good thing because especially if it was through a sibling, it's about a 10-year wait time in general with the visa bulletin. So it really doesn't matter. The petition's still pending. So it's good for like the foreign nationals children. All right, so they don't age out. And so this is related to a law called Child Status Protection Act, CSPA. So if you Google it, you'll probably find more information. Anyways, it's a quite complex scenario. So hey, if Congress is going to fix anything about immigration, there's a lot, of course, but I hope it's perm bar. I need to share a wish list with y'all, but if you're going to talk to your congressman or woman, um, let's see. Does it matter if he was green card holder? You mean your dad? uh, no, that's how he files for you in terms of he doesn't have to be a citizen. All right, so that's okay. So that's F2A, and then now F2 is going to turn into F2B. So, anyways, I don't even know what I was talking about. Let's see. Yeah, Gates. Someone else says Matt Gates. This whole politics thing is kind of crazy. All right, let me answer. Hey, y'all, welcome to the show. If you're just now joining, it seems like more people are joining. So, we do offer a strategy session for 15 minutes, no cost to you, but not everyone's qualified. So, if you don't mind, just do at least one more thing, okay? Is that if you're busy at work, you probably don't remember the secret code, but please share the secret code. Today's code is TGIF. TGIF. Okay. So share it if you're at work or something after the show or something, because I don't know if you could do it while you're on the show, but send us a DM. Okay. And then, yeah, send us a DM and then with that code TGIF, and we'll send you the link. There you go. Thanks for sharing with others. But the code is different every day, Monday through Friday. All right. So, Moy left us your question. Are children to parents case hard? To do. Parents enter a visa, but worked. So if your child turns 21 and your child is 20 is a U.S. citizen, then yes, that is an immediate relative classification category. So that means as long as the parent is in the United States, enter with a visa, and never left, you can apply for adjustment of status along with the petition. So anything related to adjustment of status means, okay, it means that you can apply here in the United States. You do not have to leave. Now, let's say someone entered a visa but then left, then that triggers a bar, unlawful presence bar, or a parent entered America without a visa, then eventually you have to get a waiver and then have the visa interview abroad. Now, that's the default, right? There are exceptions, and that's why y'all need to utilize and unlock our strategy session by giving us a call or send us a DM or fill in our form on our website, greencardguys.com. We greatly appreciate it. Okay. Now, by the way, folks, if for some reason you're in an immigration, you're thinking about investing on something called EB-5, or you have question about your criminal history and see what the consequences are about related to immigration, we do charge consultation fee for that. Because in fact, for criminal history review, we honestly charge 4 digits for that. Okay. So not to waste your time, because you don't want to give people a bad idea like, oh, we can talk in consultation, but then they didn't take my case. So I just want to tell y'all up ahead, if you have criminal history and wants to review it related to if you're eligible for something, we do charge 4 digits for that. I can't say it out loud because I don't want to be banned by TikTok, but you're welcome to give us a call. And the reason is because I'm licensed in Texas. I have attorneys licensed in different states. So if your question is about I don't know, a crime that happened in California, I don't know anything about California state law, right? So then I had to research with a colleague, and that just takes more time. I can always refer you to someone, hopefully. But anyways, yeah, Moy, let this from the facts you shared, you should be good to go. But of course, Good to go to file for AOS eventually when your child turns 21. But of course, give us a call. No, not not that digit. It's closer. Mickey on YouTube. It's closer to your first answer. Okay, it's closer to that one. No, not that one. I'm not that unreasonable. Okay. Dan, Dan, I don't have the conversions memorized. Unfortunately, there is a. Well, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Let me see if I can pull it up. I think I have it bookmarked. This is in the Department of State manual about conversions, fam state, family preference. Okay. And some conversions are automatic and um, some are optional. Okay. So let's see here. Let's see if I can find it real quick for you. Maria, if you find a question on TikTok, you're welcome to pin it in the meantime. Let's see here. Automatic conversion. What was your dad? Dan, is your dad considering to become a U.S. citizen eventually? Well, never mind. That doesn't matter. Yeah, that would be yeah, if that happens, like if your dad becomes a citizen, Dan, then that's gonna automatically change it to second preference to first. Dun, dun, dun. Actually, I'm trying to find the part about F2A to F2B. For some reason, I can't find that right now. Adorable 681. How can I get into America, please? That is $1 million question. I wish I knew. Okay. I mean, I do know, but I mean, I wish I knew for you. Everyone's situation is different. A lot of people, want to apply for visitor visa, for example. You can do that. But I don't know if you are married, if you happen to be married to a US citizen already, I recommend not applying for a visitor visa. But even if you have a significant other who's a US citizen or a resident, but have not married yet, then definitely go ahead and apply for a visitor visa. But the visa officers tend to deny people refuse a visitor visa if you're already married to someone who has status in America, because then they already have an idea that you might not come back to your country. So that's not the only reason someone could get denied, but it's possible. Okay, you're not married, you don't know anyone in America. Well, hey, if you use TikTok more often, you definitely get to know people in America. But the key thing is the great question, because everyone's question is great. It just I usually emphasize it when I don't hear that kind of question in a while. But the thing is, a lot of people try to come to America in a caravan or on a train, unfortunately, for a better life. Um, so, anyways, but if you have the means to stay where you are and look for a job, seek a job of a company in America and try to get sponsored by a company, that's the best route. Okay. That is the best route. And that might be the only route. Well, there is a diversity visa application that I think could be opening up pretty soon, if not already. But yeah, finding a job, you might be surprised. I mean, you obviously need to have some work experience, maybe a degree, but yeah, if you don't have any work experience, I don't think a company in America is going to sponsor you, but you need to have some kind of work experience at least. But yes, companies do sponsor. You don't have to necessarily be in America. Um, Adorable. Okay, thanks. Cool. Cool. Your friends shared our page. Well, thanks for tuning in today. Oh, October 5th. Yeah, thanks for sharing for the DV Lottery 2025. You're a teacher. What's SEN? Senior teacher? Is that what that means? For seniors? In Dubai. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. So you have to probably, showing your credentials, things like that. I mean, I think there's probably a shortage of teachers in America, actually. So Oh, okay, okay. Special education teacher. Got it. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure a lot of schools in America definitely need your assistance. It's just a matter of doing it a certain, applying for a certain way. So it could be through like H-1B if you have a degree, or J-1 visa. And many companies and many schools, a school district is like the overarching authority basically in America. They usually don't have an immigration lawyer, right? So if they're gonna have a lawyer, it's usually like a corporate lawyer, a business lawyer, but they not every company has an immigration lawyer. So I network with other companies too, right? I got to go to those conferences to share because sometimes you might your application, you might get an interview, but then because someone doesn't understand, like the whoever you're interviewing with, like, oh, you don't have stat, you're not here, okay, well then you can say like, you can ask them like, do you have your company or school have an immigration lawyer on hand? And if not, I know someone, right? So you're welcome to put our name out there. Okay. We do accept companies or employers or schools as clients as well. So we're happy to help out. So the thing is, for us, we're different than many other lawyers in many ways, but we have a link of short videos, kind of like TikTok style, a little shorter, not all being funny, just straight to the point, because we know employers have limited time to understand the process, but it's important that they understand it. Shawnee, are they waiving interviews for cases that were filed separately? I-131st and then AOS after it. You know what? We haven't. I honestly don't know, because I would think it's still possible, but we typically file all together. If we know that someone's eligible for AOS, we just file all together. So I'm guessing you might not have known that before, so it's okay. But I don't know, Shawnee. I don't know if you joined earlier, but I was at an interview earlier at USCIS in Houston, and we filed in June. And I was telling my clients, look, and I share with y'all, just because you are scheduled for an interview is not a bad thing. Don't be scared, okay? Don't be scared, okay? Someone asked me the other day, I think yesterday, for some videos about it, so we'll record some to prepare y'all. But again, the benefit of hiring us as an attorney is that we can provide you so much more advice. So I can only give you general advice on YouTube and TikTok. Do I have a YouTube page? Yes. It is called if you type in greencardguys.tv, that's our YouTube page. So I'm live on there right now as well. But there's a lot of other videos that is easier to upload on YouTube. Actually, easy on TikTok too, but it's just the format is different. Thanks, Moy. To really try to appreciate that. I'm short to the point, quick to the point, but sometimes it's I'm not able to answer it as in depth as I want to, because lawyers like to talk a lot, typically. So that wasn't the case when I was growing up. I just love sharing legal information. So um, can I write it in? Let me see if I can. Can I write it, Maria? Can I write it in? Is that possible? I thought I could. What is CSPA? Child Status Protection Act. So that's if like you sponsor a family member, and then that family member has children, then they're considered derivatives. Derivatives, and long story short, if the derivative, the child, turns to over 21, the old law was that they're out, right? But if they're over 21, that doesn't mean they're out anymore. It's not automatic anymore. Okay. Oh, cool. Thanks, Maria. Greencardguys.tv goes straight to our YouTube page. Thanks so much for the question on that. I hope that's allowed by TikTok. Why is the court Galad Ali? I don't know why I say it pronounce it like that. Why is the court not setting your final hearing yet? How long will it take? Probably a hell of a long time, especially if you just got referred to court recently. What city, Galad Ali, what city is your court case at? So, hot tip, folks, if you have been referred to court, and you would know this if you received something in mail, so hopefully they have your correct address, is that what's it called? They usually receive a notice to appear document that we call NTA at the top of it. All right. And sometimes they don't have the court date and time at the bottom left. And if they don't, folks, hot tip, there's case law that allows your case to be dismissed if at the bottom of your NTA you don't have a date and time on there, sometimes they put a fake date, and so there's been lawsuits on that too, because they put a fake date. You go to court, and you're like, when's my court hearing? Right? That's messed up. So that's not right. But another hot tip is that you want to go online. You just Google search EOIR, automated case information. It should pop up like the first one. You type in your A number. Of course, make sure it's a government website, .gov, but typically it's like the first one. And you type it in, and it'll show you your court date. If there's no court date, it will say, I think it says like no case information or something. If it doesn't even show your A number, it doesn't pop up at all, then Department of Homeland Security hasn't even filed your case to the court to even get scheduled for a hearing. So it's a bit of a weird process. Honestly, it's pretty weird. It's stupid, honestly. I can go to that rant a different day. Can I apply for your girlfriend K1 visa? Okay, sorry guys, this is the last question. But before I answer this question, there's a good reminder. Welcome to give us a call right up here, all right, on YouTube, Facebook, or you go to our website, greencardguys.com, click on Contact Us. If you want the free 15 minutes, okay, no cost to you, click on option 1 so you can hopefully qualify for that strategy session. Otherwise, if you need more time, all good. Click on option 3, I believe it is. And option 2 is you want to skip the consult for any reason. Some people do, because especially for people who've been waiting a long time for mandamus cases. And you already know, it's like some people already know about us through another lawyer or another client. They just want to go ahead and straight hire. So, sorry, Zay. Let me pin your comment. Thanks, Maria. Let me pin this comment again. All right. So, can you apply for your girlfriend K1 if she already applied for student visa? Are they going to create a problem? No, not a problem. But first, number one, Zane, you have to be a U.S. citizen. And number 2, you don't have to have an official proposal, but you need to have met within the last 2 years, okay? At least once. You need to have met, okay? At least one time. In person, not virtually, not by video, okay? And the reason why is because they're going to, as part of this package, the first petition, first step, they're going to ask you to write a letter, statement of intent to marry, because you got to explain how you met. Okay. Okay. One more question. All right. One more question. I just love answering questions. Is active being reviewed a good thing? Yeah, it's a good thing. Is it necessary? Like if someone's going to search online on the USCIS website.gov, oh, I'm looking for actively reviewed. No, don't worry. Don't stress about that. Okay. Because actively reviewed does not mean an immigration officer is having your case file in front of them in that moment. Okay. I know some people have that status shown for like months. So it doesn't mean officers are reviewing it for months, right? So they kind of give you, I think it's one of those like catch-all phrases of like your case is just still pending. So hopefully that gives you an idea. By the way, folks, I see some people liking the live. If you don't mind giving us a follow, okay? If you love this stuff, go ahead and give us a follow. Give us a like on Facebook. Hit the thumbs up on Facebook and YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe and follow in your respective platform that you prefer. Yeah, today's Friday, so TGIF, give us a call. Don't be shy, or send us a DM, and I will see you on Monday, hopefully. All right, y'all have a good day. Take care.